Hi, it's Michelle Eaton here. In this video, we're going to extract a background from an image so we can place that image anywhere we choose. We're going to use a program called Gimp. So if we go to Google and type in Gimp, so we're looking for gimp.org, and we're going to click the download button, and we're going to find this link, download Gimp 2.8.2, and click there, and we can see in the bottom left of our screen the download is going. So when that's finished downloading, we can double click and run the file and install. When that's finished, click Finish, then we'll come to our Start menu, type in Gimp, and there we have it, Gimp 2. And it does take a while to load all the modules. When you have Gimp open, on the left here you have the tools, in the centre here you have the canvas, and over on the right we have the layers. It's a powerful program, very similar to Photoshop, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. We're only going to be using a couple of the features of the program. So now we're going to open the file that we want to work with. So we come to File, Open. We're going to look in our pictures, and this is the image I want to work with. You can make the canvas bigger. That's the full size of the photograph. At the bottom here there's a zoom, so if we need to zoom in close, which we will do, that's how we'll do it. Now the tool that we're going to be using to cut this picture out is called the Paths tool. So we just click on that. Now as we're working with transparency, what we need to do is come over here to the right, look at the layers. We need to make sure that we have our image selected, and you'll see a little box here. We need to right click that, remove the alpha channel, then we need to right click again and add the alpha channel. So now we're going to make our screen a little bit bigger, the canvas a little bit bigger, and we're going to zoom to 200%. This is just going to make everything easier to work with. This should help us work with the image without having to scroll too much. So we're going to start in the bottom left and click where we want to cut. Now if you see this diagonal line that comes over your screen, when you click on the left, that's, I think it's a bug. I could carry on clicking around the image until I got to the other part of the diagonal line, so I'm not quite sure what that's about, so I had to cancel, close the picture and start again. So I've come to open the picture again. There it is. I'm going to stretch the canvas, and I'm going to zoom to 200%. You can scroll, but I prefer to not scroll if I don't have to. Make sure I've got the Path tool selected. Start in the bottom left, and as you can see, there is no strange vertical line now. Make small selections inside of the photograph, inside of the image. Smaller is better, so the shape stays more in line. If you make a mistake, click outside, come up to Edit, undo, and you can continue straight from there. Now if you've got awkward images like this strand of hair, I'm just going to ignore that and go down the main line of hair across, and then that can go straight to the bottom here and then connect straight over to the original point. So now we're going to zoom back out to 100%. So the next step is to right click inside the picture, scroll to select and scroll down to from path and left click from path. So now you can see the little marching ants, the moving lines around the outside of the image. Now we're going to come in, right click, select, and we're going to click invert, and then we're going to press delete on our keyboard. So now where we see this checkerboard effect, that means that it's transparent, there's no background actually there. So now we're going to come up to File, Export, and check at the top here that it's being saved as a PNG. All the file types are listed at the bottom here. So if it's not showing the PNG, you can select it from here. A PNG image, and that's going to be saved in the Michelle Pictures folder. I'm going to save it as michelle.png. And in this dialog box, we're going to deselect Save Background Colour. Leave all the other settings the same. Click Export. So now we've exported and created a PNG file. With this copy here, this is our master copy, and we can save that. And as you can see, a Gimp file has the extension XCF. So if we save this, it will be saved in its original format and we can go back and make changes. So I'm going to save it in the same place as my other files in Michelle Pictures, and it's going to be called Michelle XCF. So I'm going to save that, and now we can close that one. Just for a quick illustration of what we've just done, I'm going to open a JPEG file. It's just a background. It could be anything. It could be a header or any picture that you've got. And I'm actually going to resize this to be the size of my Facebook timeline. So I'm still in Gimp. You don't need to do it this way. Your PNG can fit into any other program. But I'm going to scale this, scale image, and I'm going to have to unlock it to get the size I want. And the width will be 851. And the height will be 315. And that's the current size for the Facebook timeline image, which could very well change. And that's fine. If you know how to scale things and do them yourself, it does save you paying all the time to get somebody to redo all your images. So I'm now going to scale that. And if we go to the bottom here, you can see it's zoomed out. So let's zoom in a little bit to 100%. And now let's go to File, Open. And there is michelle.png. And we can see that it's the file we want. We can see the checkered background, so we know it's transparent. So we're now going to open that one. They're both at 100%. We need to reduce the size of this PNG that we created. So we do the same again, and we go to Image, Scale Image, and this time, instead of using the pixels, we're going to use percent. And this time we need to leave this little link here locked because we can't distort the shape of a face or a person. Obviously that's not going to work. So let's put this to 50%. So now that you can see it's scaled, and let's see how it looks. It should be in proportion because we've left this little link together here. So we'll click scale. And yeah, that looks fine. So now what we can do is we can edit, copy, come over to the background we want it onto, edit, paste into. Now we need to make sure that we have the rectangle selected here in the toolbox. Now we can move the image to where we want it to be. And if we click away, that's now set. If you do need to move it again, come up to edit, undo anchor floating selection, and we can move it around again. And again we can file, export that, and export it to our pictures. And this one can be saved as a JPEG. So we can call it test timeline JPEG. And we can export that. So that JPEG now can be used wherever we may want to use it. The original file we're now left with is untitled. And if we want to add to this and enhance it later on, then we can save it as an XCF. So I'm going to call it timeline.xcf and save. So I'm going to come back to this at a later date and add some more things to it before I put it onto my Facebook timeline. So now I'm going to close that one, and here's the imported PNG that we originally created. So we'll close that one. We resized it, so I'm going to close without saving, so I'm saving the original file. And then we can close Gimp, and we're done. So I hope that was useful for you, and I hope to speak to you again very soon.